Me, what I believe in is in bootstrapping. And bootstrapping so you can actually have family and friends help you in the beginning, but bootstrap so you get traction. You want to be able to understand what you are doing, understand the market, because Africa is not a market you can go and read on paper or other schools have written about it or the school locally have written so much about it. You need to discover. You need to understand how it works. You need to understand your sourcing, your distribution, your processes, or else you will go take someone's money and you will be playing games with it. So I genuinely believe in Africa, you need to have traction before you go and raise outside funding or even going for loans, because loans here are quite expensive as well.
So I want to take a step back before you go into how best to fund your idea. How do you know that the idea you have is a good idea or is worth pursuing?
When the market in Africa, I believe, even in Ghana, the market will react to you. I have entered in a few businesses, and if the ones that actually work, you see the market reacting, either buying your product or the consumers giving you feedback or asking for a certain type of delivery for your product. So the market one will show you if there's something that's worth it. Another thing too is you need to look at your margin. If the margin doesn't work, then you're in the wrong market. So you need to understand that, hey, the test trials, the little of the product market fit, it's a very key aspect of it locally here.
Okay, so if I hear you correctly, you want to move to market with your idea and test it out first, ensure that there's a market fit before you get money involved. If there's no market fit, it's probably not a worthwhile venture. If you're solving for a problem that nobody asked you to solve, you're probably waste your time.
Yes, especially locally.
So I want us to really drive this point of funding home because a lot of people within the community are asking, as a young entrepreneur, how do we get funding for our ideas? Grants, loans, investments. What is the best strategy? So Roland, let me start with you and then we'll go around the table.
Grants is always nice, but grants is not a business model, but grants is always good to support. To raise in my industry, FMCG, it's important for you to have some sort of traction. Traction that necessarily didn't just mean revenue. It could be distribution expansion. It could be optics agreements. It could be product are already moving in shelves. There's interest. You need to be able to prove the product market fit and also prove your distribution channels that are consistent and working. So loans in Africa are quite expensive as well. In Ghana, for instance, regular bank loans are about 32% interest rate. Fundraising equity too. Equity is a nice thing if you are able to have a network and you're able to raise. But it's usually easier if you have traction and let investors see that, okay, this is a business that is already moving and is already doing what it needs to do. Because food is very subjective. If people love something, they will buy consistently. And if you prove that your product is something people will buy, the next thing is to invest in your distribution, invest in in your market. So when an investor sees that there's an adaptation of your product, then invest in your distribution and your marketing is the next stage. So friends and family is always a good bootstrap beginning. There are platforms that you can find investors that are in the industry, whatever industry, even in FMCG, if it's tech, you'll be able to finance it. And if you're in a community, your community can also direct you to other ways to raising funds from, even if it's from grant and loans. There are certain banks that are giving programs that are semi grantish through the Mastercard Foundation. So it's about doing the research and looking in as you're building, but make sure you have some sort of traction.
Can I get your take on this?
I think for someone who's already starting, one of the things is also to look around and see what accelerator programs are actually being offered. These ones enable you to get insights on who the investors actually are, and it also gives you a group of either mentors or even partners who are being involved in the particular accelerator program. This one's always there. Then, of course, other than just looking at the way Roland has mentioned, but my grants may not take you much. One, two, you might not even be ready for it. And I think three, you need to also ask yourself, do you need the money right now? Because you find most of the times entrepreneurs, the first thing they put up, what is your problem? Oh, I don't have money. Then when you actually sit
Yeah.
down and go through, well, your issue was not actually money. The issue was your system. The issue was your process. The issue was your people. So you find it's very different. And I think we keep on putting money as what is going to help me succeed at first. And then it becomes that's all I'm focusing on. That's all that I'm thinking. And I am scratching and knocking and doing so many other things. And then when you go back, you're asked, so what's your traction? And then you look so confused. What are you talking about? What are you asking me? Don't you believe in what I'm already telling you?
Right.
It doesn't work that way. So I think that's the other thing to look at. And I think the third thing is think through if I was actually looking for money, what kind of money am I looking for? Am I looking for money that's going to be debt? Am I looking for money that's going to be equity? Do I know the worth of my business? Am I ready to share control of my business? Because the other thing is, you might have a brilliant idea and we tell you, you know what, this thing is worth millions. Oh, perfect. Here, take it. Then you're shocked. You're looking around, you have nothing. You have no name. Then you're like, no, I'm a million. You're not a millionaire anymore. You sold your company. Why? Because you didn't even read through, you didn't even read through what it was worth. So you need to also know what is my idea worth? What is my product worth? But if I think of the traction that probably I've already done in the past 6 months, going forward, how much more might I earn?
Okay. So accelerator program, build traction, make sure there's a market fit for your product. Michael, do you have anything to add to this?
Yeah, most definitely. I'll always be the contrarian in such discussions because I'm a believer in blending funding or blended finance. When you're coming from the specific industry that I am from, which is innovation, we are building unicorns. And unfortunately, when you're building a unicorn, it's pretty expensive to do that. And most people would probably not want to give you the money upfront to build what you build. So, with my journey specifically, I started with bootstrapping. I took on whatever gigs because I cook on the side. I took cooking gigs. I did work on my farm in order to put some money together to build a prototype, which, as I said earlier, exploded. And that's just part of the learning process when you're building an innovation. But for anyone who is in the innovation space, I highly encourage linking. I have one of our new cohort members in Africa 2100 reached out to me, and he's in the health space and he wanted to get into an accelerator. And fortunately, because I see them really often, I sent him one or two or three, and he was actually accepted, and he's on his way to get his innovation in healthcare funded. So I encourage you a lot, if you're out there watching, get on LinkedIn, join as many groups. Like, for example, I'm in the solar space. I'm a member of many climate change funds, so that whenever there's something new or something that could help build my business, I'm on there, I'm applying, I'm trying to get into those programs. But for anyone to a point where you have something to show, which will make you more attractive to an investor, and then you could move on to a venture capital firm or maybe even an angel investor.